Les Canadiens de Montréal sont fiers de repêcher from the Slovakian national team and TPS Turku, Juraj Slafkovský.
Welcome to the holiday edition of Hab A Listen. It's your boy Lewis.
And it's your boy Gibby. What's going on, people?
Feliz Navidad.
What'd you say about my dad?
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Chrysler.
holiday.
Happy holidays. How's it going?
Chanukah. Happy Chanukah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Whatever, man. I'm not gonna get into that.
Why not?
Just I have my reasonings, man. I just don't.
What do you got against Kwanzaa?
I don't have anything against Kwanzaa. I just don't. Like, I don't know what to tell you about that shit. Like, what do you want from me?
I don't know. So the Habs win, man. Again.
Yeah, back to backs.
Starting off the road trip, fantastic. There's a lot of things to talk about, but yeah, I think did you just watch that game?
I came home. I just had to do a couple things for a client today on a Sunday, I know. But, yeah, I just got home about 10 minutes left into the first. I watched the second and then just tuned in and out on the third period.
Yeah, they're playing good hockey.
They are.
Really good. I've been very impressed with what I've seen lately, and you know, obviously we're going to talk about it. I think I want to start here first, which is Patrik Laine. I wanted to talk about his comments towards the team, his previous team, which was Columbus. That was the game they lost.
Yeah.
They, won 5 out of 6?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Basically, he said, this is what he said, and I quote, he said, "Obviously, things happen. It was kind of it for me. I felt like we were just doing the same thing year after year. I was tired of losing and just giving up when it's December to start focusing on the next year. I'm not going to do that. That's frustrating as a player when you're trying to win, and some people are, not like that." Those are comments before the game. Now, clearly in that game, the Blue Jackets did not comments, and they kind of were going after him. They were going, laying that extreme, making that if he was on the ice, he was going to feel something. And left the game early or was pulled from the game early. What's going on the ice? So what is your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, for one, your Wi-Fi is absolutely dog shit right now. For two, I feel like there was a little bit of I don't think it was needed. I don't think it was necessary. I think he could have just been he could have been a little bit it's very vague to a point where it was almost like he was throwing shade at his former teammates. And you don't want to bash your former teammates. You also don't know who he was talking about. Obviously, Werenski did not like those comments at all. But obviously, Columbus players are going to have to defend while they're playing there. Again, I don't think it's a necessary thing to say, but I mean, hey, he wants to say that. But at the end of the day, he's got to realize he's going to get bumped and bruised, and we saw him get fucking mauled against Columbus. So, I mean, eye on, and I'm a little concerned, because I feel like he quit. I don't think he got really injured. I feel like he quit that game, and I feel like he couldn't really handle all the booing and him getting tossed around the entire time, and I feel like he kind of like was maybe a little bit sore, and he just kind of milked it and was like, yeah, I can't play today. That's how I look at it, which is kind of a red flag to me. But again, I hope I'm wrong. But I mean, maybe he wanted to go play Fortnite because I know the OG map just came out, so I know he's a big Fortnite guy. I know he's a big Fortnite guy, so maybe he wanted to go play the OG map. I don't know. Have you heard about Patrik Laine's like thing that he used to do?
No.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what he's doing right now with Montreal. I'm assuming it's not as bad, but he was so heavily addicted to Fortnite that he every road trip they went on, every hotel that they stayed at, he went to a spot, bought a TV because the TV in the hotel sucked. So he bought a TV every road trip they went on and plugged in his fucking Xbox or PlayStation and played Fortnite.
Yeah. That's was early on. I don't think he's like that anymore, but
that's insanity, dude.
I don't know. Listen, so this is what I heard. Like, first off, I think that it was a mistake. A lot of people said it, and I agree with it. Is like, say those things when you're leaving town.
Yeah.
Don't give any unnecessary fuel. Too many times in the past, it's blown up in people's faces. You just become a meme, or people keep the receipts and they say, oh, okay, you know what I mean? After it all goes wrong, or after you make a promise, or after you give a guaranteed win. Just don't give the other team anything. I mean, after the deed is done, sure, why not, right? I think that he should have took the gentleman's route in this, which is, yeah, you know what? I got nothing to say. That was the past. That again, I was going through a lot during that time, and I still got love and respect for the organization and my teammates, blah, blah, blah. Like the prototypical answer. That's the smart way to go about it. Columbus wasn't happy. They were targeting him. I heard that the team or the trainers decided to pull him. He didn't decide to leave the game, that they pulled him, just to keep him, because they probably didn't like what they were seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the last thing they wanted is for him to get injured. Yeah, this is what I heard. And I don't think any hockey player is just going to pull themselves from the game. You know what I mean? Just because they're getting a hit. And it wasn't like he was getting, okay, he was taking extra hits, but it wasn't like dirty. You know what I mean? It was just. No,
I think they're also still cautious because it was 9 games into him returning from his
exactly. His injury. So imagine you see guys going after him.
Yeah.
So if I was the team, if I was the GM, I'd probably be like, listen, pull him from the game, upper body injury. You know what I mean? I don't want this guy getting hurt.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have said that, right?
Yeah, I can get that. I can get behind that.
So that's one thing. Again, yeah, I just I didn't like it. It was. I kind of wish that the team responded more to it, too. You know what I mean?
Fight back, push back from what they're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
again, Columbus wasn't going out of their way to do anything dirty. It was just they were playing the game, and a lot of times some guys will let up, but they were finishing their hits, especially on him. So again, it's not something I wouldn't say that it warranted a response I felt like guys weren't standing up for him, but I do think that you kind of send a message too, hey. If you see him, with a late hit after the whistle, you grab a guy and tell him, hey, buddy, better relax with those hits. Kind of thing,
Yeah.
But, just happy he's healthy and he came back. And he's been looking good. Again, 5-on-5, that line is starting to get going.
It has.
You're starting to see him get his legs back. And, even skating back today, I saw him making some plays. And you could see that hockey is coming back to him. So that's great. Another thing here is obviously Alexandre Carrier. Do
you want to touch on him, or do you want to touch on Dach first? Just because we touched on Laine, might as well just touch on Dach.
Touch on everybody. Okay, fine. Let's go to Dach then. That line.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about, he scored 2 goals. Played a little
Yesterday.
bit better today. And I mean, that's a good sign. But what have you seen? Have you seen improvement?
I've seen a little bit more care. Like, I'd say the last 3 or 4 games, I've seen a little bit more effort from him. I feel like he's getting in the corners. Like, even today, there was the one where he drew the penalty against Kucherov. He was battling on the half board, or down low, sorry. And I feel like now those 2 goals, like even his second goal yesterday when he scored, like he let out like a nice little low fist pump celly. Like
that was a beauty goal.
I feel for the kid. I really do. Like, I mean, he wasn't putting it like his entire game wasn't being put together. But it's nice to see that looks like he's finally putting a little bit more effort, and maybe with that effort is because of the confidence is slowly starting to grow. Maybe he's slowly starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with his knee. Like, a lot of things are intangibles here that are probably happening within himself right now. And another good game today. Like I've said, I've been not impressed, but I've been optimistic with the last 4 games that he's played. He's looked like he's putting a little bit more effort in, he's battling it out a little bit more. So it's a good sign. It's just a matter of if he can stay consistent, because I'm going to be honest with you, like, that second line center position is not, I'm not confident with it. And I spoke about it last episode on the rebuild episode.
Yeah, but like let's just compare like what 2 games can do, because if he didn't score and have a decent game today, the last thing we're talking about is him getting 3 chances in front of the goalie and not being able to pop it in, right? Like literally right there, gets robbed with 3 chances, 3 rebounds, couldn't score there, and like that's where he's coming from. But it just shows you that he is starting to put himself in better positions. He's getting, like, again, I think that he is, I don't know how many times we're going to say it, but the injury was a bad injury. This is you literally are not active at all during recovery. It's a lot to come back from. And it's going to take some time. Again, these last 2 games, that line has played well. Look at the difference. Look at how they're winning now when you have your second line going. Like, look how important that line is. It alleviates some pressure from the first line because they're going to get to tough matchups, and opens up a little bit more for the third line, because now they're actually putting together some tougher shifts. So the third line gets an opportunity to go out there and execute, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's been happening. I just want to see Dach, because the big thing here is
his face-offs.
Yeah, I just wanted to see today. So his face-off percentage. Do you see it?
Let me take a look. See. He was 3 face-off wins, but that doesn't really say anything. Doesn't really say much for what he. I mean, we can look at how many face-offs there were.
Hold on, I think I can find it here.
So the Habs were 53% from the face-off.
Yeah, which is not bad. So he had. Yeah, it just shows 3 face-off wins.
Yeah, they don't show a face-off percentage. Hold on, let me pull this up.
Which is weird, right?
We should probably have this stuff fucking pulled up. We're fucking rookies.
Well, it's just something that kind of popped up
man.
last, spur of the moment. It's not like.
Yeah, they don't have any face-off win percentage, any of that stuff.
Newhook has 1. He has 3, so 4 face-off. He must have took more than that. So.
Yeah, no, of course. Fuck.
But yeah, anyway, like that's the one thing I wanted to see how that's been in the last few games. But yeah, I mean, besides that, I think he's looked good. He's looked a lot more comfortable, and if he can just keep on growing from what we're seeing in these last 2 games, then we're in good shape.
Yeah. His face-off percentage is they're hovering around like 38 to 42%.
Yeah,
for his career.
It's dreadful,
which isn't ideal.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Like he needs to get closer to 50.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is.
But between him and New Hook, they gotta make it work. Use their strong hands. Are they both I guess they're probably both the same, right?
What?
Shoots right. Kirby Dach shoots right.
New Hook shoots left.
Oh, there you go. So
yeah, so New Hook shoots left, and honestly,
so there you go. So they can use them almost as like together, just to kind of
tandem.
get them more comfortable on their whenever it's their offhand, you switch it up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, and New Hook too has looked decent with Laine. They're starting
that
to gain
entire
some
line.
chemistry. Like that goal was beautiful. Like Laine comes in, makes that pass, and then Matheson kind of just comes around, finds New Hook, high slot, boom, just buries it. Beautiful goal.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some other plays too, like late in the game in the third period, they had another one where they made some good plays and got stuff going, and it's looked a lot better, especially 5-on-5. They haven't had it teams have been cautious of not taking too many penalties against them. So not having to depend only on the power play, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah, of course.
But it is encouraging, what we've seen from Dach. Now, this is, for me, I think this is what has made a huge difference on this team. I don't know how you feel, but the acquisition of Alexandre Carrier. And, dude, I don't know what happened with autocorrect, but in my notes, I have Will Barton.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what is this guy? I was like, who the fuck is Will Barton? when you sent it to me, I was like, because you're supposed to say Will, like the question was Will Barron, like not the name, like it's like Will he type of thing. So I was just like, what the fuck is this guy saying?
Will Barton finds success.
Good player, man.
So anyway, let's talk about Carrier and what you've seen from him so far. Do you like the acquisition? And then also Justin Barron, what do you think of him? And do you think he is going to find success?
Like, I just feel like he's steady. He's like a steady player that we can just rely on. He's a vet player. I've been saying it, like just having a vet presence in the back end is just good. Like to pick up off of some mistakes that a rookie or like a fresh sophomore player might fucking have, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. He logged 21 minutes. Like that's, and then Matheson logged 25. So yeah, fuck. Carrier has the second most minutes as a D-man.
Yeah, and he can kind of spread it out a bit. Him and Gooley, I thought, have made a great pair together. You know what I mean? Like they just seem so steady. Even that goal, Carrier finds them, boom, Gooley blasts it. Like again, yeah, we have been kind of beating that drum for a while, where it's like this defense is too young, and you could just see the instant impact. Like game 1 of him in the lineup, there was an impact already.
There's a difference
like,
right
everything
away.
was cleaned up. Like, and he just reminds me of like a Josh Georges kind of guy who's like nothing special about him, just not big but doesn't play small. And yeah, just a steady guy back there, and I think that's so important for this young group, because he's kind of a guy who can just go out there and eat some minutes, can play against top guys, can play against top lines if needed. Definitely, I don't think he is like a top to 2 defenseman, but right now, as you can see, they're spreading out the minutes amongst everybody, and it's just helping these guys progress and a little bit more, and not having them to play above their slot. And I think that him and Gooley make a perfect pair. Like I really do.
Yeah, I like it. I like and he's good at on his advanced analytics, like he shows that he does his exit, like his zone exit is really good, which is something that as rookies, as inexperienced players, like with the speed of the game, they make mistakes. Like, look, Lane Hudson, who's really good with the puck, really good on the puck. There was, 4 games ago? He had like 2 or 3 blunders that ended up leading to a goal. And it's just like minor things like that that'll help. Like, it goes a long way. Like, it goes a long way. It's just minor little tweaks and aches and pains that we need to like tweak with the lineup in terms of like adding a guy like Carrier. It doesn't need to be a fucking absolute star, but it's just because like realistically we're gonna have a bunch of very good players. We're gonna have Hudson, Gooley, Mayu, Reinbacker. Like, we're gonna have those guys. It's just a matter of adding the little pieces together, the missing pieces together, which is something that we're gonna need. And hey, look, he's locked up for another 2 or 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's signed a 2-year deal, so we have him for at least another year for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's nothing bad at all, man. Like, it
fills the void. It definitely fills the void. Again, he's not somebody that needs to be here forever, but he's gonna buy us some time to develop these guys. He's just a steady guy. I really like him. I really do. I thought it was a very smart move by the management, and I thought it was a good trade because you're trading a guy who's kind of fell down the depth chart in the sense. So this was the issue. We needed a more shutdown kind of guy, and we were almost trying to turn Barron into a shutdown kind of guy.
Like, he's soft. He's soft on the puck.
He's soft on the puck, and he's just not that kind of defenseman. And the thing is, we have guys like Lane Hudson and Matheson already. We don't need another offensive defenseman. And I kind of felt bad for Barron because they kind of put a leash on him and expected him to be more defensive, but that's not who he is. So I think it was almost a good trade for both teams in the sense that Nashville has a guy who can maybe open up the playbook a bit because they have guys who can shut it down, and we got a guy who can shut it down where we have guys who can open up the playbook. So who knows? We'll see what he can do. I think that he's not a bad defenseman, but he's gonna need to be paired up with somebody who is defensively responsible, and also he'll need to be on a team where he doesn't have. He's just like kind of like a third pairing guy who can bring some offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I still think he can, buddy. He's like, how old is he? He's 23. How old is he? How old's Justin Barron? Hold on. He's 23. Yeah, he's 23. He's 23. Like, for D-men, they take a long time. Like, at 25 is when you really know what you're going to have from a D-man. That's how I look at it. And even then, there are still like late bloomers. Like, look at Carrier. He is a little bit of a late bloomer. I think you're starting to see him like 26, 27 years old now. He's starting to come into his own.
He's steady.
It happens.
He is who he is.
It happens. Like, no, but like you never know what they become. Like, nobody expected Carrier to be what he is right now. Like, what was he, a fucking 5th or 7th round pick? Like, now he's bottom 4 pairing. Yeah. Like, he can play in the top 4. Like, he plays with Gooley right now. You know what I mean? Like, he can play there. He's a good utility guy. He's gonna be a good utility guy. And honestly, he could be like potentially be he'll fill the void once Savard goes, I feel. So we'll see. Like, I think Barron can still has potential to be in that middle pairing. I do see, but he's gotta improve that defensive game. He's gotta be a little bit more physical, and that might come into his body when he turns about 25, 26, when he gets more comfortable. We'll see. I mean, I never had an issue with him. I thought he was slowly starting to throw his body around a little bit more and play a little bit more physical, but it wasn't enough for him to stay in the lineup. And unfortunately, we have so many guys above him in the depth chart, so we might as well give credit to management. Give him another opportunity elsewhere, get some type of asset, and no harm done.
Yeah. Again, and I think that with us, we have already those offensive. There's 3 guys, playing for us right now who bring that offense already, and it's just not enough. Like, we don't need another guy like that. We need guys who can play defense, and that's just what it was. And I don't think it was like. again, if we don't have Lane Hudson or a Logan Mailloux and Justin Barron is our offensive defenseman, you know what I mean? Like right now, then it's a different scenario. They'll be a little more patient with him. They'll give him better opportunities. But Lane Hudson is the future.
Yeah.
That's the guy who needs that spot right now. And the other guys, we want more, I guess, steady defensemen, NHL bodies. So I totally understand the trade, and I was happy with it. And again, I think he's one of the biggest differences so far on why this team has played better.
Yeah, just again, more steady defensively.
A couple things. It's him, obviously him and Laine coming back. It kind of started to pick up when Laine came back.
Yeah.
But then getting him, and then obviously, Kirby Dach slowly starting to get into his own. And here is a third thing that I think, again, only one game, but Jakob Dobes makes his first career NHL start. 34 save shutout. Is he the second coming of Ken Dryden?
Here we go.
So I told you I was listening to the Florida feed because I had the ESPN app and I was watching the game with the Florida commentators, and they're like, "Yeah, in Montreal this week they're gonna, they're gonna be saying that he's the second coming of Ken Dryden." But nonetheless, the kid had a solid game.
Yeah.
What did you think of him?
So I watched the first period, the entire first period. Second period I had to watch on the road. You gave me a stream, so thank you for that. Third period I missed because I was visiting family with my parents. I was visiting my grandparents. So third period, unfortunately, I was locked out, wasn't able to watch. But first period looked good. I was really impressed with him. Second period, I mean, all from what I watched, he looked really good. But I noticed he's very poised, very calm, very cool in the net. Doesn't fucking... His lateral back, like post-to-post movement's pretty good. Like, he doesn't really flop too much in the net. He doesn't look like he's out of position a lot. I'm really impressed. And I listen, I know he's going to be a good goalie in the NHL. It's just a matter of where. You know what I mean? Like, where? Because we may not have a spot for him. It depends on what the plan is for Montembeault in the future, what we want to do with Montembeault. I'm really impressed with the kid. I thought we should have gotten a vet goalie. Let Dobes stay down. We spoke about this already. Let Dobes stay down there. Get his reps in. I don't think he's going to get as many reps as he should. But end of the day, it's a positive. It's a positive to see him. I mean, posting a shutout in your first career start is amazing.
Against the
Stanley Cup former Stanley Cup champions. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good little
Buffalo
little accomplishment.
Teams. This is in Florida, very impressive. I thought the team played very well in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to make spectacular saves, but he looked really good. What I like about him is his size. 6'4". He's big, and he plays big. You know what I mean? I love the way he can peek, over top of players when there's, guys
traffic.
At the point. Yeah, which I feel like, that was kind of something that Primo and Montembeault were kind of lacking a little bit. But, yeah, he looked good. He's big. He moves well. Again, one start is not enough. But, again, this guy has been playing well. And you have to understand, in the AHL, putting up the numbers that he's put up in the AHL, they're not, fucking world-beating numbers. But, again, you're playing in a shittier league with probably shittier defense and a lot more game breakdowns, like the defensive breakdowns. Those things happen so much in the AHL. So it's definitely sometimes a harder league to put up good numbers. Primo did clear waivers. So
as expected.
For me, I really do think that this is going to be good for Primo. As I said in the last podcast, this guy has put up numbers in the AHL. The game's a little bit slower. He's had a run with Laval, and I think that maybe this is what he needs to get his confidence back. Little less talent, slowing the game down a bit, get some reps, don't have the pressure of, playing in the NHL and having another bad start, not as many eyes on you, you know what I mean? this might be good for Primo. Him and Hughes, I think, can hold down the fort. And I do think that this, having Dobes up here, is going to put pressure on Montembeault, too, to perform.
Yeah.
Because he knows now that there's a guy back there who can get the job done. So Montembeault played very well today again. There's one goal I would say where he kind of lost the puck behind him. It's a weird play.
Oh, the one where Kucherov bumped it in?
Yeah, which,
That's also on the D, though.
There's one thing he has a bad habit of. When he loses the puck, he almost kind of just freezes, where like some goalies will kind of, if they lay down on their back kind of thing, where he kind of like, I don't know, he sometimes seems to just freeze in those situations. But overall, again, I'm not going to, be tough on him. I think he's played very, very well in the last few games, and it's made a difference. You could see it. Like when we have good goaltending, this team is not as bad as, they were playing in some of those blowout losses. And 2 points out of a wild card right now. So in the mix, they are.
Yeah.
Hey, is that not in the mix?
I don't want them to be in the mix, man.
I know. I get it. We need some probably, but right now the way they're playing, they look good. And you could tell when they picked up Carrier, this was management throwing them a bone saying, we want you guys to do a little bit better than what you're doing. You know what I mean? And there's still a lot of stuff in the cupboard. But again, the main thing, I am still not changing from, our last podcast, which I think that second line center spot is a very, very important spot. And if Kirby Dach can't take it, they're going to need to find somebody who can. But so far, hey, maybe he heard us and maybe he's trying to prove us wrong.
Yeah, he listens to the podcast religiously.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah, like there's a couple guys that are in the draft that I really want. Like really want. But fuck, man. It is what it listen. I will not be mad if they take a step forward in progressing and finishing with more points than they did last year. Do I think in the long run it'll hurt them? Yes. I would like one more top 5 pick and then progression. Because we have 2 first-round picks this year. So
now
we got to see what we do with that.
Jake Evans
is
on fire.
Yes.
Could potentially be a very good trade target who could get, I mean, a first-round pick is a stretch, but a second
depends what the market is right now.
And then obviously trading up, you trade 2 firsts and a second to get the first over. Like, there's different things, and obviously some teams don't want. But again, there is not like a huge separation on the top number 1 guy. Like Hagens, he looks very good, but is he like solidified as the number 1? No, not yet, right? And sometimes based off of teams and their scouting and their needs, this draft, I don't think there's a solidified number 1 kind of prospect yet. So I think that's something that they pay attention to as well.
Mm-hmm.
So anything can happen. I mean, there's a lot of time. The one thing I gotta say is that, like, guys like Jake Evans, Josh Anderson, these guys are playing well. Like they've come to play and they're really building their value and becoming probably trade targets. You know what I mean?
I love Jake Evans so much.
He's playing himself into a good contract.
Yes. And here's the thing too, like it's okay, so like if you're like, what are you doing if you're management and like fuck, man, it's so like they're like in such a weird spot. Like, do we become like, are we going to be sellers at the deadline or are we not?
Well,
like,
I think at the end of the day, you got to see how far out you are, right?
Yeah. I honestly, so here's my thing. If we're in the fucking mix, which I don't want to fucking lose, but if we're in the mix, I don't want to trade off anybody to get rentals. I think that's a stupid idea.
We're not in that situation. We're definitely not we're not in a rental situation. They're in a situation where they can pick up. They want to pick up somebody who is going to be probably with some term.
Yeah, it'll be a hockey deal at the deadline, which usually will happen in the offseason. But so what would you do if I'm management, Jake Evans, for me, it's like what I can get for Jake Evans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a conversation with him and be like, listen, bud, we're going to give you an opportunity to go win a cup this year. Let's touch base in the offseason. We can talk contract. We want you here long term, but we also want to get some assets for you.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, we have guys down the pipeline that can take his role.
We do. But I
think they should be listening and they should trade him because, I do think that he deserves more money than we should pay him.
We could pay him. We have no issues paying. Like we're gonna the cap's only going up, and I feel like we've locked up most of our guys.
But still, I still think that because we got guys like Owen Beck and Michael Hage and all these other guys, I think that we have, you know what I mean? We have guys who can take even Kapanen, you know what I mean? Who kind of showed some promise. He's probably only going to get better next year, and he to me is a guy who could probably fill into that slot eventually.
Now, do you want for your future playoff run guys? Do you want young players on your checking roll lines, like your third and fourth line? Oh, and like third line you can run, but I feel like Jake Evans with a Luke Tuck and a Florian Jack-Eye would be insanity.
Yeah. I mean, but Jake Evans is more skilled than a true like fourth liner. He doesn't play small, but he's not like a prototypical fourth liner. But then again, in today's NHL, a fourth liner, doesn't necessarily just hit you like they did back in the day, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough situation. I think management, again, I love the guy too. And it kind of goes back to every time we get a center, why do we trade him? Like, even though he's somebody who's that, like, guys like Dano, or there's so many guys who we've cut, even Monahan last year, right? It's like, you put Monahan on this team this year, and we're probably a playoff team. Like, close anyway.
Yeah, we'll probably be winning a couple more games here and there.
Yeah, and just give us another 4 or 5 wins. I bet you if Monahan's here, because you could just see how he just solidifies that second role. There's no question that he's a center. He's good on the draw. He's responsible, and he creates offense. He's perfect, right? So, I don't know. It's tough, but the one thing I think that probably Jake Evans won't end up here is as the reason I said he's fourth liner, third liner at best. And those type of guys you can either sign, pick up in free agency, trade for, or, again, like you give, and we have centers down the pipeline who are more projected to be that kind of role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which are going to be bottom 6 kind of centers. We don't have the top 6 centers. So if you can acquire something that can get you closer to that, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, take a swing at him in the offseason, call him up and say, hey, man.
Remember us?
Yeah.
Hey, that Stanley Cup ring looks nice.
How much you think, he's worth right now?
Like a contract. I think first of all, Eric Engels did not reply to me. Kind of upset. But I added him and I said, because he was talking about Jake Evans, and I was like, what would you do? Like, what would your thoughts be on letting him walk, getting him an opportunity to go win a cup, talk to him in the offseason, giving him like a 3-year, 4-year deal at I'd say between 2.79 and 2.75 and 3.75. Between there. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And if he wants an extra year, then you'd be like, listen, if you want an extra year, then take a little bit of a haircut.
I think he's worth close to 4, like in the 3.5 and up.
Yeah.
Right now. He's got 10 goals already, right? Like, on pace. Maybe if he finishes the season with close to 20,
Yeah.
you're looking at that's some good production. You know what I mean? And that's got to be worth at close to $4 million a year, right?
Yeah.
Again, I don't think you can pay him more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you laugh?
I don't know if you can see Kira fucking losing it.
Yeah.
I'm listening though. Sorry.
Okay.
I just see in the corner, like right here. I just see her.
Oh yeah, she's playing now with her toy.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. So $3.54 million range. So yeah, roughly like what I'm saying, like 2.75, 3.75 between that range.
Yeah.
Added like a 3 or 4 year deal. It all depends on what he wants, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And for example, like we got a guy down in Laval who played a couple games for us. What was his name again?
What position?
Lucas Gondata.
Yeah, whatever.
But I'm just saying, when he played for us, he was steady. He scored a goal, wasn't bad. Like he's kind of a guy. Like again, he's a fourth line kind of guy. Like those kind of guys do grow on trees. You know, like
they do, but effectively, like Evans has been, no.
Yeah, listen,
Like,
he's having a
like,
great year.
You have to remember and listen, he's also shooting at a very, very high percentage compared to his career. So that percentage will
hasn't
drop.
Scored fucking lucky goals though, man. Those last two
They've been
games,
a lot of
he's
fucking they've been good.
Cheese.
They've been good. Don't get me wrong, they've been good, but the thing is, like, he's gonna, like, I feel like he's gonna go between 15. He'll hit 15 to 25 goals. Sorry, 15 to 20 goals.
Yeah,
But
I mean, yeah, unless he falls off a cliff. But yeah, for sure.
yeah, so you don't want like you can have guys that are whatever third, fourth line players, but when it comes to playoffs, Evans still has that fucking experience. He's still like, he's almost like, even though he's still youngish, he's still like a vet. Like he's almost like a vet at this point in his career. So like for me, I wouldn't mind having a guy like that come playoff time in 3-4 years when I think we're going to finally be competing.
And do you remember when we made that playoff run and Evans got injured, and he was playing unreal?
That's
you
what
know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean? And then
He's
he
a
kind of
good-
took a step back.
He's a good fucking
But he-
player, man.
He got hurt by what's his name, Shifley, right? Remember
Yeah,
that?
Shifley,
kinda
the fucking behind the net
borderline.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it was sad because Evans was playing a hell of a playoff, and he, you know, and obviously got injured. But he's shown again. He's worked to, again, 7th round pick. This is a kid who we developed. This is a kid who
From the
through the system who put his time in Laval or Hamilton, or not Hamilton.
St.
John's,
John's,
whatever it
whatever.
was.
Bro,
Yeah.
they moved so many fucking times.
Yeah, like so he put his time in, 7th round pick, grinded his way to the NHL, and he deserves every penny that he's gonna get. I don't know if we can afford that. That's the only thing. I don't. And the thing is, it's not even about affording it. I just don't feel like if it's anything over like 3.5, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we should, because we got to save that money elsewhere.
Yeah, so he played. So we were wrong. He played 2 seasons in Laval.
Okay, so it was Laval.
Yeah, because he came for. I don't know if you know this, but he came from Notre Dame.
Yeah, college.
Pierre Maguire talks about that every time they talk.
Yeah.
So
I
Notre
know very
Dame.
well, he's a good kid, and Notre.
Listen, I love Pierre. He's a good got a good eye, and it's just so funny. Like we get it, Pierre. You're big on college hockey, man. We fucking get it. We get it.
Yeah, because I remember, I think Jake Evans, we didn't know he came from out of college. He did the full time right in college, and we didn't know if he was gonna sign. Like, you know, one of those college players who kind of like, you don't know if he's gonna sign. He ends up coming.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know, we don't know. And again, there was not high expectations for him, but again, he played well, and he just kind of exceeded expectations and earned this. So, you know, good on him.
Good on him.
Who's the other kid that we got who's kind of been a disappointment, came from college in Laval? What's his name?
It's not Owen Beck. It's fuck. I know who you're talking about. He's a center. Are you sure he's in Laval?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, but everybody always spoke about him.
And he came and he made his like debut with the big club. But he came out of college.
Riley Kidney?
Not Kidney, no.
I'll
tell you right now.
That's it, bro. That's the only one.
No, he came from college. I'll tell you who.
Sean Farrell.
There you go. That's the
Yeah,
guy.
but he's a
Sean
winger.
Farrell.
He's a winger.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying center. He's a center and a left winger. He can play both, kind of.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But he was kind of a guy too. Came out of college. Remember, he played that one game with us.
Yeah, but I feel like that's another player that's a little bit overhyped to what he's going to be actually become.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That again, that's kind of us overvaluing our prospects.
But
again.
I will say when Cole Caulfield, because it was this, I believe it was a year or the same year, a year later or the same year when Sean Farrell was drafted 4th round. Cole Caulfield ended up tweeting saying like steal of the draft or some shit.
Yeah. Well,
Because they used to play together. They used to play together. They're boys. Yeah, he played 6 games. He had a goal.
Listen, he was good in the USHL, like, you know what I mean, and then he had a decent, a couple decent seasons with Harvard. 53 points, right?
Yeah.
53 points. In 20. So wait, the one was 53 points in 34 games. Coming out of college. So the kid wasn't bad. Like, he was putting up numbers in college. This year, he's played 27 games. He's only got 2 goals, 4 assists. But this is kind of another guy where, again, with a little bit of development, who knows? It's not totally a write-off that this kid's not going to be an NHLer. Just he's not ready yet. But Jake Evans wasn't ready either, and look at what he is now. That just shows you, that's one of those guys we really developed and, turned into a good player, right? So, let's see. But Evans actually did tear it up in the AHL. Not like tear it up, but he did decent.
Yeah, he was
45 points in 67 games and then 38 points in 51 games. So it's not like world-breaking numbers, but did decent down there. So let's see what Farrell can do. And there's a lot of other guys down there too. So that's why I really do think that these if we have a high-value fourth-line center right now who's going to get us, something close to a first-round pick, I think it's just dumb to not trade him, especially where we're at right now in our development. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and those types of guys like Farrell, who else? Riley Kidney. Those are the guys that'll likely get dealt in package deals because they don't really. I feel like they just don't really have a spot in the future.
Yeah, but again, you just never know too who develops who.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? You never know who develops.
Nobody probably pictured Jake Evans on this team either.
No, 7th round pick. Fuck.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why it's like you just never know, and you still got Alex Barboulay down there. You got Owen Beck. You got Lucas Candata, Laurent Dauphin, Jared Davidson, Sean Farrell, who can play center, Brandon Gignac, who center, left winger.
Those guys are AHL guys.
And Xavier Simoneau. Right?
Yeah.
No clue.
Honestly, one of my dark horses is William Trudeau.
Oh, wait. Oh, for down there?
Yeah, William Trudeau. I like him. And I feel like he even looked at camp, he looked all right too. I feel like obviously he's still not there, but I really like him. He's a good player.
Yeah. Yeah, down there too. Hey, listen, the kid. That's another guy. You got guys like Trudeau. These guys I think are really projected to be depth defensemen down the line. But William Trudeau. You still have who's the kid? Lidstrom, right? Lindstrom.
From where?
Yeah, Gustav Lindstrom that we picked up, right?
Yeah, but
That's another guy who has played in the NHL before. Yeah. So you know that guy has played some NHL minutes. He's 26. He's a little bit older, but you know this is a guy who you still never know, right?
yeah, they could become
I mean,
good role player.
You know, he's got over 100 NHL games played,
Mhm.
so it's not like he's totally out of the question. But again, there's so many young guys, and that's why I say I think Jake Evans is getting traded. So anybody with the Jake Evans jersey, sorry guys, you might have to get it
His number,
re-embroidered.
his days are limited now.
Yeah. By the day it's just getting worse and worse. With every goal he scores, his chances goes up a percentage.
Yeah, Yoel Armia as well.
All right, and then so last topic here, which two players make you feel happy, and which two players make you feel crabby?
This
So
guy,
far
you're
this
bringing this back. Habby. I'm gonna go Jake Evans.
Oh come on, how you gonna do that?
Okay, fine. I'll go.
We just said we're gonna trade the guy away, and now you're gonna.
Yeah, but he makes me feel happy because he
Okay,
has.
no, I don't care.
Okay,
No,
hold
it's
on.
fine.
I'll think of somebody else. Gallagher. He's having a good year.
Okay, why? What makes you feel happy?
He's scoring a lot more. He's staying fucking healthy for one, and he's scoring a lot more. The effort's there, and he's in a role where he's slowly starting to benefit the role, and that's where I feel like Martin St. Louis is doing a really good job, is settling these guys into a role that they'll excel, where it's Gallagher on the bottom six, Evans on the bottom six. Like, it's good. I'm happy with those guys. Who else am I happy with? I'm happy with Montembeault.
Okay.
I'm happy with Montembeault despite a couple hiccups here and there. And the defense playing.
Those are not hiccups. Those are full out fucking choking on a pasta noodle.
But here's the thing, man. Like, defensively, we suck. We suck. We weren't we weren't good.
Sucked. We're getting better. Come on.
We are. I'm not saying that.
These last 6 games, fucking way better.
But yeah, I'm happy with him.
Okay.
I think he's settling into
Starting
the
to
number
lock
one
in.
role. He's locking in. He's playing a lot more. He's looking a little bit more focused, little more locked in. Krabby, Slafkovsky. I just wish he was a little bit more on the score sheet there. I don't want him to be like a second half player where he did it last year where he showed a lot of promise in the last part of the season when it really doesn't count because you're already out
Can
of
I
it.
say something though?
What?
Since he's been on the top line, 5 points. Last year, end of the year, he was put on that top line as well. They should have just never touched it. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing I would say about that. But I get why. You kind of.
But here's the thing: like, is he just a one-trick pony where he can only play with Slafkovsky and Caulfield? You know what I mean?
He's gonna play with himself, and
He's gonna play with himself at home and then come on the ice. Wait, what? Yeah.
It's not that he's a young player. Of course, I don't think he's a power forward. I don't think he's not a center. So I do think that, putting him around good players will definitely help him in his development. But I do understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying, hey, but since he's been on that top line, been putting up, more numbers. Imagine if he was there all season, where he'd be at, right? So,
but again, like, this is my thing. It's like I want him to be able to do that with different players. Like, and even if you're not putting up the points, like, and you're not on that line, like, fucking use your body. You're a big fucking boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show that you're in the game. That's my biggest thing. And my last guy, only as of late, Krabby is Caulfield. He's not scoring since
scored
Laine.
yesterday.
Yes, since Laine has come, and again, this is the problem with goal scorers. I understand they're gonna go up and down. They're gonna go up and down. So I'll say Krabby. It's Caulfield. I just wish he was scoring a little bit more. I wish that first line was scoring a little bit more. 5-on-5. So, who knows? I mean, power play goals are going to be a lot less now that Laine's in there, but
5-on-5, which he did yesterday.
Yeah.
So, beautiful goal he scored yesterday, and I feel like he's had some chances, had some breakaways, had this and that. So he's putting himself in the right spot. But
I just want him. I want him to hit. I want him to hit 40 this year. I really want him to hit 40 this year.
Yeah, I get it. Like, he slowed down a bit. He's got what, 18?
Yeah, something like that. 17 or 18.
Yeah. Let's see. Which, I mean, is pretty good for halfway through the season. He got his. That was yesterday. So yesterday, he scored his 18th. So, I mean,
yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, as of late, he's slowed down the last 7 games or so.
Yeah. It's tough because the poor guy, has been. Some guy just came on the team and stole his whole spot, his bread and butter, his sweet spot. But there's one thing I do like about Caulfield.
He's competing. He's playing two-way hockey.
He's not a one-dimensional guy
like he used to be.
He's really, his speed on the ice is noticeable. His playmaking ability too is a lot better. So if he was not scoring but not doing anything, kind of like a Mike Camilleri back in the day, where it's he wasn't scoring, he wasn't doing shit. But the guy's got 33 points, 18 goals, 15 assists. That is encouraging, but I get what you mean. You want to see I want to see a power play goal from the other side from Cole Caulfield. You know what I mean? Like, I saw they tried it today, but Suzuki gave the puck away, but they were looking for him kind of like on the right bumper spot a little bit, and he was going to rip one from there. But, yeah, I get it. So you're kind of just, a little bit of tough love for the top guys.
I'm kind of like it is what it is. Like, there's no one that really stands out to me consistent. Obviously we can say Dach, but I just feel like he's already down. He's already down and out. And listen, he's slowly, last 3-4 games he's been, so I don't want to give him too much shit. He's already taken a lot of fucking heat. Probably a lot of pressure under him, and he's an avid Hab A Listen listener, so I don't want him to think we're bad-mouthing him at all times.
Yeah, we support you, Kirby. So make me feel happy. I would definitely have to say Lane Hutson. I think the kid has come as advertised.
Yeah.
His defensive game, I think, is slowly improving with every game. We already know what he can do offensively. The kid can just create so much. Also, I'm so impressed with his battling when guys try and go around him and try and go to the net. I saw him win a few battles today. And that was the biggest question about this kid, is he's too small, but he doesn't play that small out there.
No, he's good. He's good with his stick. He's good at closing off the
and
the
he
lanes.
Doesn't get manhandled. It's not like that. You know what I mean? For a young kid, he just sees the game so well. And that makes me feel happy for sure. Another guy that I think who's kind of earned his way on this team and has made me feel is Emil Heineman. This kid.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, he has
even today.
He's been another reason why that line is playing so well too. Evans, Armia, and Heineman. All three of them make that line into what it is. You know what I mean? And I'll give a shout out to Armia as well, because Armia has picked up his game. It feels like he's found a home with those guys. His penalty killing is good. But Heineman, to me, he is playing really well in that role. And I don't see that this is his ceiling. I can see him being he has the ability to play in a top 6 down the line. You know what I mean? That could be his ceiling. He has the shot to play there. He has the IQ, defensive responsibility. obviously he's not there yet. That comes with experience. But this is a guy who don't count him out. He can shoot. He can play the game, and he definitely makes me feel happy. Making me feel crabby. Definitely Mike Matheson.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Again, he's kind of locked in as of late, but to me, I've been underwhelmed with him so far this season.
He's had a lot of really shitty games, like really shitty.
Really bad games, and that just might be, having to be the top guy really on this team is probably playing a little bit above what he should be. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like he's been consistent enough, and he's been trying to do too much at times, and definitely, been a little bit disappointed in him.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Pezzetta, I'm gonna no, Michael
Poor guy, man.
Dude, when's he ever gonna get into a game, bro?
There's like the bottom six is working, man. That's the thing. Like it's looked good. Like who are you gonna really take out right now? What, Josh Anderson? But he's competing. He's a big body.
Right now, you're not touching any of that.
That's what I mean. Like everybody's working, and unfortunately, there's just not a spot for him right now.
Yeah, and what makes me feel a little bit crabby too is Jaden Struble. I would just say, like, I know you love Struble, and I've been a little bit underwhelmed. Like, obviously, I know he hasn't been in the lineup, but there's kind of a reason for that too. I felt like he just hasn't gotten off to the start that I expected. He showed a lot more promise last year, and I know he's been injured, and it's been a shuffling of the lineup, and now you got guys like a guy like Carrier, and with Jack-Eye just really starting to lock in as well and play so well. Yeah, Struble's been a little bit disappointing, but again, it's still young in his development.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two guys for sure.
Okay.
So, any New Year's resolutions for you?
Yeah, because next episode is going to be 2025.
Yes, sir.
I want to be more present in 2025 in the sense of like being more present with family, with friends, with just being more present as a whole. I feel like I deactivated Instagram just before the holidays. Want to see how long I can go.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I'm doing so much useless scrolling. Like not even like it's like almost like just like a routine, and it's just like I don't want to be. Kira, what are you doing, dude? I don't want to be just like even with like my niece and nephew. Like I don't want to be on my phone. Like I want to be present. I want to be there. Like and like even these holidays, like I saw like all of us like together, like a lot of us were just on our phones and not really like talking
it's kind
much.
of weird
It's
to
like
look around and see that.
Yeah, man. I just feel like everybody's so locked into their phones, and it's like I don't want to be that person. I want to try and make a change for myself. I want to be a little bit more present. And I know like the whole like New Year's resolution with the gym and blah blah. Like I was locked into the gym for a bit. Unfortunately, Kira tore her ACL about 3-4 weeks ago, so I haven't been able to go. So I want to get back into the gym. I want to just be more consistent with the gym. And hopefully by mid-March, I'm going to start going to the gym before work. Because after work's always a bitch.
I thought you were going to say before March, I want to join a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah, okay.
That's the goal.
That's a lot of commitment. I don't have time. I don't have the time for that. Like I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to be a little bit more consistent, and I want to be a little bit more present.
So more present, kind of get some of the bad habits out, and obviously go to the gym, work out again, get back into the rhythm. Yeah, that's pretty good too. I like that. I do think I need to like. There's a few things I want to do. Like I definitely want to be. This was a good year for me, like work-wise and stuff like that, not drinking and being a little more organized. But I feel like I want to take that to even another level.
I'm the same way.
Just be a lot more organized. And I'm decent obviously quitting drinking has brought me down to an ideal weight, but I definitely still, just because I'm here, like I do still want to be active and go to the gym. So that's definitely on my list.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think too, like I want to spend more quality time with like friends and family. I think this last year was kind of just me having to stay away from those type of situations because of alcohol, all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of getting my other stuff in order. But yeah, I definitely feel like now I'm ready to a point where I want to spend more quality time with friends and family, not just let me go party for a weekend. You know what I mean? I think more quality time. And actually, so my nephew too, like I haven't really connected with him much. So I definitely been slacking in that area. So I'm going to take him. I already spoke to my dad because he wants to come visit me in New Jersey. So, and he loves wrestling now. So I'm going to take him to East Rutherford next SummerSlam.
Nice.
2-day event.
That's
2-day
sick.
event.
He'll love
SummerSlam
that.
here in East Rutherford. So I'm going to get some decent seats for us, and I'm going to take him. You know, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's same stuff. But yeah, that's good, man. I want you to have a happy New Year.
Yeah, well,
my brother.
This guy's acting like we're not going to talk from now until the New Year.
But let's just pretend.
Yeah, okay. We can.
Happy New Year. By the time we come back,
It's 2025.
1 game away from 500 right now. Let's hope that the Habs are at least at 500.
Yeah, I'm down.
Win 2, lose 1,
And
something like that.
get a top 5 pick still.
We got some tough games ahead, right?
These are listen, and even if we lose, like they're character building. You know what I mean? Like they're
because we started off the road trip very good with beating two tough teams. Next game is Vegas.
Yeah.
Then we have another doubleheader, which is I think Colorado.
Yeah.
And Chicago, then Colorado. So 2 good teams, 1 shitty team in the mix there. I would give Dobes Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Give Montembeau Colorado. Don't feed fucking Dobes to the Wolves. Give the guy.
I mean, we fed him to the Wolves with Florida.
Yeah, and he definitely impressed. And, again, I know the podcast is over, but I do think that Dobes is kind of the forgotten piece in this rebuild. Nobody projects him as the starter. I would say not so fast on that guy. He has the size. He's very calm. You never know.
Yeah.
He might be the guy who's holding the fort for Fowler instead of Montembeau. You just never know.
We'll see.
All right, man.
All right. See ya later.
How does it feel to treat me like you do when you laid your hands on me?
Bye, have a great time.